Mabuhay, Kamusika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I have an interesting topic tonight I haven't heard much talked about, and that's going to be chemistry. Can chemistry with a Filipina be developed? And I'm going to have some questions about chemistry. For a while, I have thought about doing a video on chemistry between a Western man and a Filipina, but kept deciding to put it off because while it's an interesting topic, it's difficult to talk about because chemistry itself doesn't have a universally accepted definition. But I am going to bring this topic up today. Subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea for uploads and live streams to help understand the process of dating and marrying a woman from the Philippines. Get notifications for upcoming videos and leave comments, and I hope there are plenty of comments for this one. I will have some links in the description box where some of this material came from. By all means, I bet you have an opinion on this, so please share it with me after watching this video. From Wikipedia, in the context of relationships, chemistry is a simple emotion that two people get when they share a special connection. It is the impulse making one think, I need to see this other person again. The feeling of we click. It is very early in one's relationship that they can intuitively work out whether they have positive or negative chemistry. A second way, you know when you meet someone and you just vibe, you never run out of things to talk about. You laugh together, you have tons in common, and you feel a sort of magnetic-like attraction to them, but also you just want to grab their face and kiss them all over and keep them forever. That, my friends, is called chemistry. And if you get butterflies just thinking about what chemistry in a relationship feels like, then you've definitely been there. It's great, isn't it? Well, here's a third way. It really isn't something you know analytically, it's just something you feel. These are three attempts to describe chemistry in a relationship. I agree that you can intuitively work out whether you have positive or negative chemistry with someone early on, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can't develop later. I think the second description was a little over the top, while I prefer the third comment that relationship chemistry isn't something you know analytically, it is something you just feel. But how much feeling needs to be present? I have been married to Aiza since May 10th, 2015, and have not asked her if she felt we had chemistry early on or even if we have it now. This topic is interesting to me because a marriage to a Filipina often starts with online communication from a man and a woman separated by thousands of miles. There may be an age gap, a generation gap, certainly a culture gap. Is this a help or a hindrance to chemistry? According to the second definition, you never run out of things to talk about. But what if the Filipina you are interested in is just naturally on the quiet side? Having so many differences could make for many things to talk about, but then again, it might have the opposite effect. My wife is on the quiet side and I'm on the talkative side. I think she has to tolerate me when it comes to that part of my nature, while I have come to learn that I need to be sensitive to her side of things. We aren't a perfect match in this way, or are we? It was mentioned feeling a sort of magnetic-like attraction to them. You just want to grab their face and kiss them all over and keep them forever. In a very long-distance relationship, it's likely to take a while before you are even in one another's company. This description focuses too much on the physical, but is that the type of characteristic to build a marriage with a Filipina on? I remember many years ago in a singles class where I made the comment that chemistry was more important than some other things we were asked to rank. And one lady in particular sitting at our table took exception to what I said. She thought I overvalued chemistry to the exclusion of what she thought was more important and kind of lectured me about it. Naturally, I concluded we didn't have good chemistry. You may know that I proposed to my now Filipino wife after only 18 days, married her 36 days later. Very quick. I don't think I ever thought we had chemistry at that time, never really thought about it. I wanted a wife, she wanted a husband. I wasn't looking for a person that was a mirror image or where there were a lot of sparks initially. I was looking for a wife, someone with shared values who I could marry. I wanted to be attracted to her, which I was, but that wasn't something I was expecting to carry our marriage over the years. Let's run through some questions now as quickly as I can. Does chemistry develop over time? I think it can and happens a lot with Westerners and Filipinas. I think Aiza and I have settled into a kind of chemistry that works for us. I think we understand each other better. I think we are a good match. I think we've become a good match. I'd like to hear from others about their experiences. Did they have chemistry right away or did it develop over time? We have our chemistry and it works for us. Now, can chemistry fade? Unfortunately, I think it can. I think after it is built up and established, that it requires some nurturing. If the acts that helped build the chemistry stop, the chemistry might stop. But wait a minute, am I saying that chemistry needs to be built or it just happens? I don't know. I think some of this is hard to put into words or maybe just hard to understand. How long does it take for a spark to develop? It may be that pulling together during a difficult time is the catalyst for chemistry. It could be an initial act of kindness that is the catalyst. It may be after realizing that you have a lot in common with each other. But does having a lot in common always ensure a good relationship? You may have known couples that seem like the perfect match, made for each other, but it didn't work. What is chemistry in love? This is a toughie for me too. I have mentioned many times in videos that love is an action, a verb, that it is sacrificial, unselfish, and bears difficult circumstances. So I'm inclined to believe that by my definition and understanding of love, that chemistry would have nothing to do with it. If I love my wife, I treat her well, regardless of how she treats me. If I relied on chemistry, harmony could get blown up real quick. Or maybe not. What do you think? How do you know you have chemistry with someone? I'd say if you feel you click with each other, you like being with each other, you probably have some kind of shared interest. I'm not sure, though, if this applies to an LDR with a woman from the Philippines. Now, when I was in elementary school, there was a kid that I instantly, and I mean instantly, hit it off with. We both liked football, and we would play this very crude football game that we got from the back of football cards, or we got it in a pack of football cards maybe, that we were collecting. And then that advanced to a board game that used cards with plays on them or something. We could play that game over and over. We always had a blast. We'd just be silly and laugh. We'd go out in the winter, and play football. To this day, I doubt I have ever had a friend like him where we had such immediate chemistry. It just seemed like it was there from the start. Sad to say, after a few years, his dad moved his family out of state, and that was that. I've even driven by the house he lived in since it isn't that far away. I would describe that relationship as having quick chemistry. We had immediate, similar interests that we could share, and of course, we were the same age, same gender, same education, same town. But that is different with an LDR, with a Filipina. Do you need chemistry in a relationship? Do you need it? Well, how did arranged marriages ever work out? At this time, I would say that it helps to have chemistry develop at some stage of the relationship. Let me know what you think. Here's a point. Chemistry isn't always synonymous with compatibility. Have you thought about that? Chemistry isn't always synonymous with compatibility. Here's one of the links I'll send you. It says, you love the feeling of having amazing chemistry with someone, but does that mean you're compatible? Not always. Compatibility is what's sure to make for a happier, long-term relationship, especially once the honeymoon period is over and it's either there or not. Although your chemistry with someone might change with time, you're probably not going to be able to change the fact that things like your values and life dreams clash in a big way. So don't get the two twisted. So incompatibility can ruin chemistry. Would you agree? I am glad that Aiza and I put more emphasis on values than on the perception of chemistry. And from another link, chemistry might not be felt initially, but can develop later. They also make the point, love at first sight, or a variation of this, predicts a good long-term relationship. They say chemistry can come and go depending on other factors. They say chemistry is not essential for a good marriage. Now, this is me talking. Read the article to see what they say. This comment begs the question, then what is essential for a good marriage? How about seeking the good of the other person? Being unforgiving and selfish. I would like to think that would help with building chemistry, don't you think? And then another link talks about chemistry can attract you to the wrong person. The goal of my channel is to help men get and maintain a healthy marriage to a Filipina, regardless of how much chemistry you may discover you have with your love beyond the sea.
All the way to the top, except for that new 24 feet. You probably see that from outer space. But no.